What is up, guys? So it's that time once again. So to all my Muslim viewers, Ramadan Mubarak. And actually, you know what? To all my non-Muslim viewers, Ramadan Mubarak as well. What that essentially means is we're basically welcoming the month of Ramadan. So if you're unfamiliar with Ramadan, I do have a video, I'll post it up somewhere, where I showed you my routine of how I experienced Ramadan working as a full-time resident physician. But essentially, you're basically going to be doing a dry fast, which means no food, no water, from sunrise until sunset. Now, during that time, you're also encouraged to, expand your good deeds and minimize things that are frowned upon. But essentially, we're during those hours from sunrise to sunset, you're going to be doing a dry fast, which can be a little bit challenging because at the same time, you still have to maintain your responsibilities in your normal life. So that's why I made a video before. This is sort of a follow-up 1 year later, and once again we are blessed and happy to be experiencing another Ramadan. But this Ramadan is actually a little bit different. During this Ramadan, my board exam for radiology is actually coming up soon. Now, if you're new to the channel and you may not know, I'm a board-certified internal medicine physician. I already trained one residency. This is my second residency, and currently I'm preparing for the radiology board exam. And so today I just want to talk about how am I able to kind of balance the responsibilities of Ramadan and the schedule without eating and drinking, and how am I able to maximize, or trying to maximize at least, my studying. So I just want to kind of go over my study routine and how I study during this month of Ramadan. All right, so like I mentioned, this year around, for this Ramadan, I'm actually preparing for my radiology core exam. So this is actually one part of the board exam in order to become a board certified radiologist. Now this exam, because of COVID, normally this exam is 2 days long. Now it's 3 days long. Total exam testing time, which includes breaks, is 16 hours. So this is probably one of the longest exams that I've taken. As you know, being in medicine, you take a lot of exams. This is probably one of the longest that I've taken, and because of that, it's actually quite challenging. It includes basically all the modalities of diagnostic radiology, adults, pediatrics, OBGYN, and kind of covers the entire gamut when it comes to that. But not only that, there's also a great deal of physics, because as a radiologist, you work with ultrasound, CT, MRI, and because you work with these modalities, you have to be able to understand how to manipulate them in certain ways, how to troubleshoot when certain artifacts and things like that happen. So because of that, it's actually quite a detailed and heavy exam. So this exam takes a lot of preparation. I kind of sort of started preparing for this exam back in late December, maybe even November. I was starting to prepare really lightly, but December is where I started to really plan out. Just like everything else with medicine, and just like Ramadan, it's a marathon. So you have to kind of plan it out accordingly, and you can't get overzealous and do too much in the beginning, and you kind of get burnt out. So essentially, what am I doing now with my routine? So now, given the fact that we are fasting, dry fasting from sunrise until sunset, I wake up before sunrise, and that's when we have our morning meal, the suhoor, we call it. And that's our morning meal. So when I have the morning meal, it's usually, nutrient-rich things. I make sure I hydrate adequately. I do have a little bit of coffee too, only because the next part, I'm going to end up staying awake from there and studying. So I do have some coffee during that time, yogurt, some fruit, and I try not to eat too heavy. The heavier you eat in the morning, you would think that maybe you'll be able to last longer throughout the day. I feel like you just get more hungry throughout the day if you eat heavier. So after doing this for years and years, you kind of learn what's best for your body. So essentially, after having my pre-sunrise meal, quickly just pray. It takes only a couple minutes. After that, now it's time to study. So basically, the way I've split up my studying, given the fact that I knew Ramadan was coming, I did a lot of book reading and maybe some slight taking notes, but I don't really take notes anymore like I used to do back in medical school. But essentially, I did a lot of the book reading and kind of gained the depth of the knowledge that I think I need to know, just so I'm able to recognize this is something I need to know, this is something I need to know, using various different resources, which I can make a video about at a later time, giving details about the core exam. But after doing that, now essentially what I do is in the morning, when I'm still fresh, I've just had my morning meal, which is almost like breakfast, right? So essentially at that time is when I do my heavy activity, which is the active recall, which means I'll do at least 100, 120 questions in the morning. And once I've done that, I kind of go over the answers. After that, I'll jump into like doing some questions for physics, because now, like I said, the exam is split into, you have to know a lot about physics. So after I do my questions, I kind of lean my questions and active recall sort of earlier on in the day. Then after that, what I'm doing is supplementing with reading, supplementing with doing lighter questions in case review books, doing cases, and watching a lot of videos. So basically throughout the day, afternoon, and towards the evening, I do a lot of more passive studying where I'm watching a lot of videos. And if I feel like it's becoming a little too passive, I go back to doing something active like doing questions. But predominantly my bulk of my active recall, active questions is all being done in the morning. So essentially that's kind of how I've structured how to study during Ramadan. It's quite different. Usually before I would split up my questions throughout the entire day, doing them later in the day and things like that when I've prepared for other exams. But for this exam, given the fact that Ramadan is here, it's forcing me to be a little bit more disciplined, which is actually better. So I'm taking care of majority of the active recall earlier on, and then throughout the day, I'm supplementing it with videos and other content, which is a little bit lighter to kind of remind me of different pathologies and different things that I've essentially could have forgotten. So that's pretty much the way the routine is set up now. We'll see. Hopefully it's going to work out, and we'll kind of go from there. So the exam's coming up in about 2.5 months. So I have a little bit of time, but in the meantime, just wanted to give you a heads up, despite the fact that you're participating in Ramadan, we're very lucky to be participating in Ramadan. It's an awesome experience, but you can't neglect all the other responsibilities you have. All you can really do is just augment them and make things ideal and kind of work around it. So for me, preparing for such a difficult board exam, what I've decided to do is more mentally intensive tasks, active recall, which again is going to be the best for solidifying all this memorization, solidifying all the facts. I do that early on in the day, kind of knock that out of the way, and then after that I focus on a little bit more passive tasks. So let me know in the comments down below. Let me know how you're preparing and how what your routine is during Ramadan. Kind of interested to see who out there is also participating in Ramadan with me. So that's a quick video just talking about that. So until next time, I'll talk to you again.